Starting. Okay. So we are on. All right. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Bel Bagai with two other members of the BAIO, Adwoa and Kata. Today we're talking about. Afternoon, everyone. This is Bel Bagai with. There we go. Let me mute that. Okay. On the page. That's gotta remember that happens. All right, yeah. So we're talking about connecting, not convincing. There seems to be a misunderstanding as to what the BAIO is trying to do. I guess everyone thinks we're just trying to convince and real people into the organization to join to build this nation state in Africa, and that is not the case. That can't be further from the truth. What we're trying to do is basically build the we, like I like to say, form the we, us, and our. Get a bunch of like minded people together who want to build a nation state, who want their own socioeconomic and political independence outside of the United States. Our historic oppressors, who want to separate themselves from our current reality. So we only want those who want to be with us. That's it. We're not looking for, all Black Americans to join and then make all this kumbaya and move over there. Like that can't be further from the truth. Actually, it'd probably be worse if all Black Americans join. Then we would join a lot, get a lot of attention towards us, which is not exactly what we want. But so, ladies, we talked a little bit about it last night, but you can definitely throw in your 2 cents in this. Whoever want to go first, you are free to get started.
Yeah, well, just talking about the connecting and not convincing portion, as we spoke on last night, it's past the phase of convincing. If you have not turned on the TV or your social media and felt the need for something bigger than what you are seeing in America, then, what can someone do with that? No one can do anything with your mindset right now. The bigger picture is finding people of like minds trying to build something, like you said before, that is not in America, outside of, our historic oppressors, trying to do something for us, because it's never going to happen on this soil, So it's like, that's really just what it's about. It's like I can't come and make you feel the need to have a nation state of your own for for your generations to come. No one can convince you of that. You have to feel that that is necessary and vital for your generations to thrive. There's nothing that we can say to do that. But on the other hand, like someone like me, I have children. I see the need. I've tried the other aspects of it. Okay, I did the religious thing for a while and I thought it was there. No, not there. I did the political. I'm like, okay, yeah. Then you look at the economics. Well, maybe it's my education. Maybe it's something I need to do. And it's like, it's not there. It's bigger than all of that.
Mhm.
So it's like, if you don't see the need for that, there's nothing that anyone can say to you at this point. But eventually, there is going to come a time and place in your life where you will have tried every other um, aspect of life and tried the religious and all of those other things. And then you're going to say, wait a minute, the BAIO is here. This is what they're building. This seemed more realistic or um, necessary to the goal that I have for my family. So that's really what it's about. It's not about trying to convince someone. And like as me and at the Wall was saying last night, a lot of times you have the people that you have to keep convincing or rubbing their backs and patting them on the back. Come on, come on, come on. And those are the people who turned every other great organization led by Black people upside down throughout
Right.
history.
Yeah.
So
Adore, you said that last night. You want to go into that? Because I thought that I was like, oh my God, that's so true. That can't be like that is really true. You can't even trust those.
The well, simply, well, my first reaction to the whole thing of convincing is I simply just don't have the energy for it. I'm just gonna be honest.
Right.
I just don't have the energy for it. I don't care enough to to take the energy I could be diverting to uh building a nation with like-minded people to convince you. And having spent and I think we've all been in this situation, whether it's a close friends or family, and we're trying to open their eyes to certain things, and we could literally sit down with our friends and family for an hour or so over dinner for them simply to go, I just don't see it the way you see it. So,
You know?
Yes, yes,
and you feel
yes.
so spent. I mean, like you felt like you wasted brain cells. You felt like you wasted your time. All of that for them to go, I don't see it like that. You know, no, I can't. So I simply just don't have the time. I simply feel like, you know what? Okay, good for you. And when I'm over here doing my thing, you'll you'll see. And I feel like in a way it's almost like college. It's almost like school. College
Right.
is really meaningless if you think of it. I mean, most of the exams and all that stuff is to weed out the people who cannot make it.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
absolutely.
So it's just like,
That's
we want the best and the brightest. We want the people who can really hold the line. You know what I'm saying? We want the people
absolutely.
that are steadfast. We want the real warriors. We want the people that really want to use their brains.
Come on
And
now.
we gotta sit there and weed the people out. So if I gotta keep convincing you, I know that you're not the material. So I
Right.
don't want you
That's
on my
real.
You're
team.
not
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Right.
I'm good. So
That's real.
so for me, when we're in these chat rooms and it's a hold up show, or if it's Dinah's show or college show, and we see these individuals, I don't even waste my energy. It's like, okay, next. and,
Right.
and I already know Bella Thanos is already gonna
Yeah.
be put them out.
You're taking them all out. Like, get out with the noise. Like, you're not trying to listen. You just
Right.
arguing just to argue.
Right. I already know she's gonna do her thing. So there's no point in me putting the energy into that. But honestly, sisters, it's like my main thing is the energy, and we have to be very careful where we put our energy. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Because putting our time into these people can take the precious time to really build up something so great.
Oh
And
yeah, absolutely.
just like Kata said, as far as the turning we were talking about last night, those people, because they're never truly convinced. So their thing is, to in my opinion, is what can you do for me? So if you have another person with the highest bidder who's going to be the highest bidder, they're going to go with them. They
Come
Yeah.
on
turncoat. I
now.
don't want the
Right.
turncoat. If
Yeah.
I go through all that, you're going to get
That's
me
real.
at the next, any chance that you get for the highest bidder. I don't want a turncoat. I want somebody who
Mm.
really truly believes in the liberation of our people. That's it.
Right.
Absolutely. Like you said, like we need people who can stand, who's going to stand and hold the line, who's not
Definitely.
going to just break, the minute things get tough or the minute, things don't move at the quickest pace as they want or they expected. It's like, no, first of all, this doesn't happen overnight, obviously, but like some
Mm-hmm.
people who are in it for the long haul, who see it for what it is, who want something better for their future, their family's future, who want to build, um, that generational empowerment to say that, like, okay, yeah, in my generation, we did this, we helped get ourselves out of the situation we was in, and we wanted
Mm-hmm.
something better, and
Right.
we built it, and this is, if I pass on nothing else to my kids, it's the fact that, hell, I built and they helped build a nation. You
Mm-hmm.
can't take that away from me. Like, that's what,
Yeah.
they're gonna know that for sure, and know, like, okay, mom and dad was really about that. Like, they weren't chumps. They weren't just gonna sit back and like let all this stuff happen to them in a land that didn't even want them.
Right.
They found it in themselves
And
to
even
go off and do what they need to do.
Right.
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 And
And
even on
and
top of
that's
that,
right.
oh
And even I'm sorry. Even on
no.
top, and the best part is that, yeah, they want is they just want us as labor.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, people really don't want to do the work. But I'm like, hell, it's the most rewarding part. If anything, that means you're going to hold it and take care of it better than anyone else is. So that's what I want. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
nobody's gonna let, if we built it ourselves, we're not about to let, just anybody come up in acting crazy, or anybody, come up in the nation we built, just, putting their foot down and taking over. No, we're gonna defend that stuff with our lives. Like, this is what we
And even
call
and
home.
for those who are connected, see, it's not just a building because you're building and you're training. So
Exactly.
while we are building in this generation, we are training the following generations how
Exactly.
to continuously thrive, how to keep building, how to
Mm-hmm.
keep seeing something greater for their nation. Because once you build, that is not it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of problems over in Africa after the colonials
Yeah.
left. They
Mhm.
build too much beyond that. And it's like,
Mm,
so with people with that mindset, convince me. I can't convince you to raise your children to be a leader and to think with their own brain. That's something that you have to do on a
yes.
side note.
Mm-hmm.
So while we are building, we're connecting, we're coming together, and we're seeing how to lay the foundation and how to build from here. There still is going to be another aspect of your journey that's not going to be a part of the we. Nobody's going to be there when you are at home rearing your children up and talking to your family as they go forward to mold them for the nation or the society that we want to see in our future.
I,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how can you convince somebody that 15 years from now, you still have to be teaching this to your children?
and I mean,
Right.
You
people
can't
come,
do that.
they'll say things like, "Oh, well, what can the BAIO do for me?" I'm like, the better question is, what can you do for the BAIO? Because we really may not want you or need you. So, what skills do
Mm-hmm.
you have that's going to benefit us?
And you
Mm-hmm.
have to get out of the me. What about me? Because
Exactly.
that hinders a lot of people. It's not about you. It's about us. And if you understand there's power in numbers, you can do nothing by yourself. So first of all, let's get out of me and start talking about the we. So that's when again, convincing is not even an option, but more about connecting because then okay, it's bigger than me. It
Yeah,
has to be more than just myself. When you are trying to convince somebody, you can't do that, for somebody who's focused on what am I going to gain.
I
exactly.
totally agree. And the weirdest thing about that, well, okay, so there's a flip side. So those that aren't really the quote unquote woke people, conscious people, whatever you want to call it, a lot of times they're very short sighted. And so they need
Definitely.
things to happen right away. It's hard for them to see anything to fruition because everything one thing is our attention span has shortened and it continually
Microwave.
decrease because of social media. So they need to see these
Wow.
things happen now. The other
Hmm.
part of the coin, what you mentioned about the me, the individual mindset, what I
Mhm.
find very interesting is that a lot of the pushback comes from the people that are so-called woke, conscious, etc. And it's
Which
funny
Hmm.
is
because
so
it's
weird.
weird because you would assume these are pan-Africanists and they are
Yes, yeah, like
choosing
I'm seeing
to
that, and
right
I
to
don't
think with their
understand it.
it's weird to think with their native minds, to think with their African minds, which is the mindset of a collective. They don't. And so what it scares me, well, not scares me, it's really sad because what I get from it is no different from the political sphere where we have our people that go into this political sphere just for career advancements. And so I
That's right.
see the Pan African movement, many that are in there that are moving up, may take that route just for that reason
That's
because they're
right.
still in that me role and all they're thinking about how can I make be a household name within the conscious community and make a couple dollars on the whole
Yeah,
what do you call it? The speech circuit. Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm speaking here, I'm speaking there, and they charging $100 or more a head, and you got to pay for my lodging, and this and that, and they never come up with any solutions. They telling me the same thing they didn't said 1,000 times on YouTube.
Mhm.
It's really funny because on the flip side, for those of our people that are still kind of asleep, they're still trying to understand. They're very short sighted. So what they're asking for us to do is to provide all this information because they can't see it because they're not thinking correctly. But then you have those that they're that they're self-proclaimed pan-Africanists, and their whole thing is, well, where's my piece of cake so I can run shit? No,
Yeah.
it's
Edwin,
not
Right.
gonna convince you of doing that.
Edwin, we have Minister DeWood in the chat. Peace,
Oh,
Minister DeWood. We're so happy to have you here. You're so
Peace,
supportive,
Minister
brother.
Dewu.
Please.
okay.
So he said, and I guess I have to ask which part he's referring to. He said, "No, it's not, sis. The thing is, most of these woke people are used to seeing nothing. That's why
Mm.
they're attacking us." That's
Mm.
probably true. That's true too, for sure. They're used to
And
being.
that's what I would think. And that's what I think also is that a lot of the bigger black talking heads, they are not trying to build up people who can think for themselves. They want to build up people to rely on them. So they will buy those $100 tickets and they will, keep needing them to sustain them throughout their lives. And what the BAIO is doing, that's not what the BAIO is. It's
Yeah.
not for
Mhm.
you to come in and say, okay, tell me what to do so I can do it.
Right.
That's not what the BAIO it
Tell me
is
what
about. It's more about you
you
knowing
know.
what you want to do
Ex-
and adding what you have already inside of you or what your plans are to the BAIO to make it stronger. So
But some people, we have to be real about our people. Some people, I, some people want to be led. Some people
they
are
do.
sheep.
You're right.
They
See, a
want you
lot of
to do
people.
all the work, and then and they just want to say yes, ma'am, yes, sir. I've worked with
That's
individuals like
true.
that. I used to be a part of
Yes.
a Pan African organization, and the so-called leader was tripping. The leadership was losing it, and everybody was standing there like sheep and saying, "Yeah, what can we do? What da 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 da?" No, that's not me. I said, "Oh, I don't believe what you're saying. I don't agree with this and that. I'm questioning things, and you know what? This is not for me. I'm gonna step away." While you got
That's
other
right.
people there standing there, and and it's it's like that Nazi mentality as far as everybody just fall in the line behind the person, the leader, and does whatever that person says. And you have a lot of people that's within our community that
That does that. Yeah.
they do that, and like they need that, and they say, well, we need a leader. No, not necessarily. You
You
don't.
know what you
You
said.
know,
And it's so
right.
dangerous.
It,
It's
It
you,
so
it,
is.
dangerous.
you're so
It's a
right.
very
And
group think. It's that whole that group think, and you try to get
Yeah,
people to think as individuals, but move as a collective. And people don't
right.
get that.
that's
It's like, you
right.
know what?
Right. Like,
I bring specific skills to the BAIO, and I may actually pick up more skills as well.
That's
yeah.
right.
When I'm working with other people, but I'm gonna give you what I can offer, but we're gonna
Come
move as
on.
a collective towards this goal, towards this vision.
There
You
it
know what
is.
I'm saying? But I'm
That's
not
right.
I'm not a I'm not a sheep. So if I
Right.
got a
Come
problem, I'm
on
gonna
now.
question it. You know what
And
I'm saying?
Dawood just
Mm.
said it now. He said plantation politics, sis.
Yeah,
Plantation politics. That's what it is. And I
yeah,
mean, that's why I appreciate when Holup says on his live streams, he's like, listen, I am not the T'Challa of nationhood. I'm not
yeah.
the
I
leader.
like when he says that.
And he's like, I'm just a regular brother. There's nothing special about me. I'm a regular brother like everyone else
Right.
out there, just just wanting more for the greater for the population, for the people to form, for us to
Hmm.
form a collective thinking process in terms of helping us get out of here. Like, where he's not trying, there's no actual leader in the BAIO. It's
Right.
like we all lead ourselves, we just work together. There is no one leader. And I understand, like, the way maybe I think they connect with the way he talks when
Hmm.
he talks, or Kala talks, or Minister Dawood talks, and they doing shows with Dynas. Like, they just automatically think like, okay, like, oh yeah, he must be the leader. I like what he's saying. Let me join. And it's like, no, 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 no. Like, don't join for that reason.
Right.
Yeah, you got
Well,
to
those
understand
brothers.
what he's saying, and
Right.
you got to want to be a part of this, and understand what we're doing. And this is why I send the link to the About Us section, because I'm like, I really want people to read this and understand what we're doing. Like, we're not just trying to get you into our social network just to be part of a social network. Like, that's far from.
Right.
We want
Right.
people who are going to bring something to help us towards the end goal, our end game, to help us form the Black agenda. Like, we're
Right.
working towards that.
Well, those brothers,
Hmm.
they really do have a presence. Minister
Oh yeah,
Dawood
they
and
definitely
Kala
do. They
and
do.
Hola, they really, really do. You
Right.
have some people that, I mean, there's always been like brains behind the charismatic type
Mhm,
of leader and stuff like that, and they can stand alone and really bring in the crowd. And
mhm.
so since I've heard all of them talk, I understand the attraction and I get
Yeah,
it.
I'm like, I
You know
get
what
it
I mean?
too, but
Yeah, I get it, but it's not enough. And the other thing to it too, which does it with the quote unquote non woke people and the others, is that a lot of times we want the leaders so that when shit goes wrong, we can blame them.
yeah,
Come on
This is
now.
just what it
exactly.
is.
Well,
When we fail, we can say it wasn't me. Well, I done told you, Cece, that was such and such lead. I mean, I've experienced it in an organization.
Hmm.
It's like
not wanting
we
responsibility.
don't want to fail. We want to blame Jesse Jackson and all these other groups. Well, it's because of him he did that march. No, Negro, what could you have done? And so it's a part of us not wanting to take responsibility,
Absolutely.
and that's what's easy about being sheep. I was just doing what I was told.
Yeah, that
But it's so dangerous if you look throughout history, because in history you only had the one leader. When the one leader ended up getting assassinated or killed or whatever happened to him, jailed, whatever, the
Mm-hmm.
whole organization goes down.
Yep.
That's the problem when you are not thinking individually because now you think that you don't have the power or the strength to
Mm,
continue on.
that's
Mhm.
right.
If all of those brothers you just named who are in the BAIO who speak with a lot of authority and power
Mhm.
are disappear today. It's like, so now what?
Where's the
Does the
move?
vision just fail or do we
Right.
proceed?
No,
Right.
we
You know?
that's what I like
So,
about it. It's like the BIA will continue, land infrastructure and nationhood will
right.
continue with or without them. So it's just, it's not, they don't own the concept. It's just, a concept for everyone to take. They're putting it out there. Like, this is what we need. You either get it or you don't. If you don't get it,
Yeah.
just get out of our way. That's
But
how.
even understanding, again, like you said, there are some chiefs and there are some Indians. Everybody is not meant to, teach or to train people or to lead people.
Right.
But your presence is still valued.
Right.
You still have a lot to bring,
Exactly.
to the organization, regardless.
Mhm.
Exactly. I
So I
mean,
think
yeah, and Holub said it before. He's like, unfortunately, the vast majority of people are sheep. Like, they're not leaders. That's
definitely
just the honest truth. That is true. That is
they
because
are.
But you
once
can
this.
always empower those sheep. Like because I used to work in community organizing, and those individuals you have to just okay. So with the BAIO, we when we all sign up, we have to put down our skills and what we offer. You
Mhm.
have to sometimes empower the people to really think about what they actually can
They
offer
have.
the nation, not just BAIO, but the nation. To think about what qualities do they have, and sometimes us with our people, we don't value ourselves, and we think
Mhm.
we're just worker
Not
bees, and we're
sometimes, a
not.
lot of
A
times.
lot of
You're right.
times, you're right. A lot of
Yeah.
times, and even
And
with those who have a sense of knowledge of self, we still feel like we don't have anything to offer, and you have to go through that process of empowering the worker bees, the sheep, whatever, to show that yes, individually you offer a lot. You think about how ants move, right? You
Hmm.
think about ants.
That's
One
right.
little ant doesn't seems very small compared to the world, but when they get together,
oh,
It's
they
they
going
end
down.
make
up
things happen.
Yeah.
20,000
Yeah.
times their size. And you have to
Right.
sometimes show people, we are an army of ants, and that if we move together and we, know what I
Come
mean,
on.
if we put those skills together, what we can actually move, what we can
That's
actually
right.
do. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
Yeah. And
you
Baden's
got
mommy just joined the chat. Hey, girl, how are you? Thanks for joining us, sis. She
Hey,
said
sis.
it's one of the things I loved about the Panther Party leaders because leaders kept stepping up till they murdered Fred Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's a
I'll
lot.
be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know all the details about the Black Panther Party, and I'll be honest with all of y'all. To be honest, like, I just came into this movement. I want to say over the past couple of months, and I was lucky enough. I wasn't so much looking for like a movement. Like, it wasn't really on my radar. Of course, I knew what was happening,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just looking to on options of visiting Africa, and then it came to my head. I'm like, you know what? I really want to move there, and then of course I ran across Dinah's Search for a Hoover channel, and then
Mm-hmm.
I heard Kala and Holub talk, and I'm like, oh shit, these brothers are doing something. Like, they are absolutely right. Yo, we need our own shit. Like, this, they're not lying. So then, and then I got just caught up in the whirlwind of all of this, but I'm loving it so far. I'm
Right,
like, this is
right.
this is what it is. This is the solution. I knew of all the other big talking heads, but I never really listened to them. So, thankfully, I mean, I haven't gotten into the detail of it like as you did, Adwell, because I know you said you've been part of the kind of been listening to the conscious community and been doing this for a while. And I'm like, okay, well, so yeah, you've heard a lot more than I have, but
Yeah,
so
I floated in and out of it. I had times where I guess in the religious community, how they say they not well, how they say like you kind of stepped out of that life and like relapsed or whatever the case may be. Like so,
right.
I kind of like in my early 20s, I cut all my hair off. I was done, and I started doing community organizing and doing things for UNIA and all these different groups and stuff like that. And
That's awesome,
then
yeah.
I kind of fell out of it when I was moving a lot, and and then I got more back into it. This is ebb and flow of the past 20 years. But the thing is about the other part of the in this situation, what BAIO does offer is the sense of community, because when you start to be
Yes.
enlightened, it is very lonely, and I think
Definitely.
we need
Yeah.
to really talk about that part of it. Is that especially with the convincing part, there's a part of us that not just with the BA, not with the BAIO, but to convince the person to see what we see, because we want our people to wake up and see what we see,
Right.
and
Yes.
join in that movement, because
That's right, sis.
this can be a very lonely movement when you are surrounded by people that don't think like you. You know, this is a social media network, and we're lucky that we can connect this way. But when all your family and your friends don't think like you, it is very lonely.
Yeah.
It is.
I
And,
can
And
imagine.
even if they do, right? And
yeah,
even if they do, they are cowards. And so they dare to do
yeah,
something that the masses are not doing. So
yeah,
because of fear, they won't step out on it. They'll
Mhm.
just say, well, this is the way they're doing it. This is comfortable to stay in this little box because I don't want to ruffle any feathers, right? Because once
right.
you go against when you go against, I'm gonna say it, the grain of what everybody else is doing, you do kind of stand alone. And I was feeling exactly that same way
Mhm,
when I had heard the show on You Search for Huru,
mhm,
Dinez and Holip was giving the show, and I was at work, and here I am, everybody like, oh, you just need to go to Africa. So I was like, okay, yeah. So I was meeting my African friend, he an OG, he from Kenya. So I'm talking to him, and I'm like, well, damn. He act like he a slave in 2018. Where's my power going to come from? Okay, like so I'm like, I can't. So I'm talking to him, and I'm almost trying to convince him
mhm.
that he really doesn't have independence in this country because now I have to explain to him all of the other nations that are behind this and that. And
Yeah.
so I have to battle him. And so I was like, my head was hurting this one day, and I'm like, I have nobody to talk to. It
Right.
is lonely.
It
I'm
is.
like, I don't have nobody to talk to. But then when I clicked on, they was doing a live streaming.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I'm listening to him talk. I was like, okay, so I'm not by myself. And I had to play it for my children because I have three sons, 13, 7, and 6. And it's like, so when I'm talking to them, here I am, whatever family function we at, I don't care if we at an amusement park, I never ceased to stop talking to them or find it a teaching moment. And so I know sometimes they think mama crazy. So I had to let them listen to some other people who are thinking the way I think. And it's like, I'm not the only one. So, like you said, it is very it's comforting knowing that there is, a people out there who are thinking the way you're thinking,
Absolutely.
who there is somebody that you can talk to about this, to those who don't understand or the ones that do, but are too afraid to actually act upon it.
Right.
Right.
That's why they need
And
all the convincing,
yeah, you
because
don't need
they're afraid to step out on faith and step out on some courage for once. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
it's it's very it's a listen.
Courage.
The slaves got it's comfort in ignorance. It's comfort
yeah,
to be surrounded and just be a
Yeah.
worker bee, because you know what? You're not the only one standing at that corner waiting for a bus. You know what I'm saying? You're not the only one clocking in every day. So it's comfort in that
Uh-huh.
whole system. But we have to remember, every piece of gain that we've ever had was a person who said, F that, I'm going against the grain. But it's hard
Period.
for us to recount that. It's hard for us to
yeah,
think of those things. You know
Whether
what I
I
mean? I
live or
can't
whether I
imagine.
die, but at least I'm going to die trying.
yeah,
Hello.
Because I can't
Hello.
leave this earth, right? Knowing that I did not do my due diligence on
Yeah.
trying to change my children's or my grandchildren's reality. I will
Right.
not take my last breath knowing
yeah,
that I did not do
yeah,
everything within my power that I
Mm-hmm.
could do. Like, what else is there? And that's what I tell people. I said, what is being afraid?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you afraid? Because when you die, your life is over.
yeah.
That's it. That's all somebody can do is take your life or whatever. But it's like when it's over, it's over. So why would you spend it wasting time fighting an endless battle that's going nowhere
Right.
instead of putting forth that energy into something that will make an impact on your lineage's future? Like, come on now. Like,
And and Baden's mommy just made a point. She said a few things. She said she had a similar experience when let's see, she said land infrastructure nation had make sense. I had a similar experience and I tried religion and all other outlets. Nothing answered all my questions until I understood the system of white supremacy. Then everything made sense and all of my questions were answered. And yet
definitely,
it is lonely. um,
definitely,
It is
so,
lonely.
and
I was in
being
the
definitely.
political sphere, and I was like exhausted. Oh God, I hate to admit it because I know how to. I was a big liberal,
It's okay.
progressive,
It's a part of your
and
growth.
It's
I was
called
at
growing. It's
every
called growing. That's all that is.
let me say this. I was independent until I moved to Chicago. I could not vote in the primary. So I had to change it to say I was a Democrat in order to vote. That's how they get you a lot of times with the whole
Oh
independent.
shit.
So yeah, a lot of times independents cannot vote in the primary. So I used to be independent, even when I was here in Philadelphia. I was independent, but I would really try to get into local politics and even nationwide politics, and it's exhausting. I hate the process. I hate the energy I put into it. I am big on that energy transfer thing, and almost every quarter there's something to vote on, and that's exhausting. And when you don't get your way, it fucking sucks. And then when you think you get your way, they never adhere to it. I'm not into buying politicians and all that bull crap. I don't believe in none of that, because that same money that we could have bought that we bought that politician, we could have put into our own nation. So like
Absolutely.
we sometimes, again, even the political sphere here is short-sighted, and people don't see that. And they're like, no, that's not true. Yes, it is, because every 2 years, every 4 years, every 8 years, every such and such, you're voting to keep something intact. When the next person comes in, if the other person doesn't go in, he can easily rewrite that and blah 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 and blah blah blah. It's a cycle. No one
Yes, it
sees
is.
that. So
It
every
is. It
year
is.
we're hoping that the next president doesn't override this, and the next president, and the
Mm-hmm.
next senate doesn't do that. No, I don't have
Yes.
energy for that. It's short-sighted. And now I'm getting high blood pressure over this shit. So like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like
It
I
is
got like
though.
I used to
No, it
watch
really is.
CNN and follow all this stuff, and I'm like, I can't do it. And so it's
Okay.
like,
Yeah. No, it's
right. But
draining.
putting that energy and that money and the resources into having something of our own just makes
Yeah.
sense. LIN just makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It just
I,
And
does.
it's just and this those are subcategories to the larger one. A lot
Mm,
of people, if you spend your time fighting this, fighting that, because I did that also. I went to the religious and I was doing that and I was like, yeah, this all I need. Then it's like, no. Then I went to attacking, okay, the criminal justice system is, all our people are going and this and that. But then when you go to the economics, I mean, you go to the gentrification, it's like, these are so
right.
many different battles that
mm,
will divide us and have us focusing on one thing, one thing, one thing. But the bigger thing is white supremacy. And
mm-hmm,
so that's where you need to be nailing, hammering the nail, at the top while we doing the little, which are all necessary. If everybody want to do it, that's fine. But as far as myself, I was like you said, it was exhausting because when
yes, it's
you're fighting
exhausting.
this one battle, you could stand a political, but you only can change one little piece of document at a time, right?
Mm-hmm,
So you changing that one document, but yet you still have people that are not getting, hired like they should, or education, getting killed in the street, men going to prison, breaking our families apart, just everything. The different messages they send through advertising, through
mm-hmm,
movies. I mean, billboards, bus ads, everything you see all day long is a big white face and a small black face. So how do you counteract that? This is their society, and they show you that every chance that you get that they
every
get.
single day.
So
Exactly.
what do? You fighting all these little battles.
Oh,
You trying to go to
all these
every
fires.
meeting. Yeah, you trying to go to every meeting. You can't. You only one person.
Right.
It's like, okay, this is not gonna drain me because that's the way it's set up, right? So that you will be exhausted to where you won't have time to do anything but go to work and come home and see
Right.
your family,
Right.
And
and
you don't even
probably
get a
engage
chance
in
to
a
do that.
couple of organizations. But
Right.
but
Right. And you said like we're fighting all these little battles, but like you
it's
said,
not changing anything.
what is not doing
No.
anything, and what are we going to do to win the war?
Right.
Win
That's
and
Well,
right.
see, that's the
That's
thing,
right.
because now we're
win the war.
distracted. We don't see that it is a war to an extent. When
We
you get
don't.
so
Yeah,
engrossed in with politics or any other like any other sphere to try to fix your community or your people, you start to become very narrow minded, and all you see is
definitely.
that particular goal. So it's like we're in our house and we have these little fires going on in our house, and we don't realize that our house is surrounded by a fire. The
Yeah.
Right.
fire is like, here's the forest
The whole,
fire, here's
the
the
whole thing is
wildfire,
burning
and
down.
we're sitting there like, get the baking soda. We got a fire in the
The
kitchen,
baking
and we don't realize we're
In
surrounded
the
by
kitchen.
fire. What the right? We sitting there worrying about the damn little a grease fire in the kitchen,
And
and
the kid,
our
come
whole
on.
house is surrounded by fire. We don't see it
Right,
because we're just
right.
focused on that. And it's like I had to step back. I was like, yo. And I had friends like, oh, well, you used to be really in this. Oh, you don't care about politics anymore. I can't. Like,
It can't.
I don't
It's
understand.
wasted energy at this point because
Yes.
our reality is, we're going to be whoever's placed in power really don't have our interests. They just want our votes. The truth of the matter is they never really had our interests or black people's interests in general.
Right.
And black people, again, I mean, uniting as one to make them have our interests is another issue we have. We don't even want to.
Oh
The truth of
no.
that, I'm like, I don't even think.
Because we are so divided on many different levels. And I talk to people time and time again. I don't care if they from the continent, or if they from America or Jamaica or wherever. When I talk to them flat out, I ask them every time, "What are you?" And they're like, first I'm American, I'm Jamaican, I'm African
Mhm.
from Kenya, from here, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Or they'll say I'm Catholic or I'm Muslim or I'm this and that. I said, okay, but then you have to think a little higher. I said because no matter where you go, you will always be black, African, or African descent,
Mhm.
period. And the color of your skin will always matter, majority of times, always play a part in your life. At some point in time, you will be reminded that this is who you are, right? So
Hmm.
I said being black or African descent has to come first and everything else has to come second, be it religion or whatever, so that we can come together on a larger scale, because it's like if we are divided for these little petty issues, oh, he gay, oh, she this, she that, it's like, okay, yeah, but at the end of the day, they fighting the same battle that you fighting. We're
Absolutely.
just
I
being
agree.
born in the skin that they are in,
I agree. Well,
That,
so it's like
that's
at
the
that
issue with
point,
liberation.
right,
We can't even agree if we're all the same thing.
oh my God,
right.
seriously. Oh, I mean,
And because it's silly. Some people even say that they. I mean, I was watching something the other day, and they're just like, look, one of my cousins, he is straight. He black and mixed, black and white, because he come from down south. He do look like an Indian, but when I tell you, he walk around with leather on and feathers in his head,
Oh,
because he really think he
what?
is an Indian. So,
Oh God,
where,
I can't.
so where
I
it's like,
can't.
wow, like you are that.
embraced
You
it like that. Did
But
you
see,
say
you
anything?
say he wear leather. What do you mean he wear leather? What you?
Like,
Girl, he be wearing the little leather vest with with the black pants and the little black cowboy boots with the
wait,
silver on.
you
And
say
then he had his two little braids on the side with a little, his little
He
feather on
indigenous?
something.
You think he indigenous? Is
He
that what
Yes,
you're
he does,
saying?
honey. He thinks he is Indian, to where my great aunties, it was 18 of my grandmother's children. And my grandmother, one of her aunties, aunties, because they don't care. And they was just like, would you believe that this Nigga think that he is an Indian? And I was cracking up. He like 65, and that's how sad it is. Because this is not a 21-year-old.
oh
This is a
no.
65-year-old grown man with
Oh,
over 8 children and over 15 grandchildren. So can you imagine what those children and grandchildren have inside of them? Like, you don't even know where you come from because he chose not to face his reality.
Yeah.
What is it that you hate so much about being who you are? Because I love all of me and my ancestry. Do I like what they've been through? No. But the strength and the power it took for them to keep staying on this earth and do what they did so that I can stand means a lot to me. So I don't know what it means to you, but I'm not ashamed of it. Okay?
well, he is a different generation, so you get this part of the generation. So, oh God. So with my own, so we went to a family reunion a year ago or so or whatnot, and everybody swore. This is one of them nigga moments. Excuse me. Everybody just swore. It was just like we are part Cherokee, mind you. Cherokee is the racist, the one of the most racist Indian nations. But okay, we are Cherokee. Yes, we are. You see, our great grandmother, her hair was all the way down to her, and come to find out she was a product of rape. And then she was just
You
biracial,
know it.
just a product of rape. And everybody was like, ugh. And it's just so and if you ever go into like YouTube and you see like the ancestry results and almost every black group, well, I just know we're about 10-15% Native Americans. Oh
No.
and it's like
Oh,
it's
sorry to tell you
okay.
that
And like to
your
me,
grandparents
the
got
biggest
raped.
thing is like right, and the biggest thing is to me is like, yo, but look, your ancestry come from Mali. What you talking about? Like we're 98%.
Wow.
80% African. That's beautiful. And it goes to show. I mean, especially if you see some of the older ones, you'll see the sadness on their face, and it is
Mm-hmm.
a generation thing. I mean, I mean, I've had older people that doesn't even like to be called black. They prefer to say color.
Right.
We have these type of things like that.
Crazy.
But the issue is just
I
separating
concur. Yeah.
ourselves from being demeaned, and everyone knows we're at the bottom of the caste system. No matter if you're woke or not, we know subconsciously, consciously, we know that we are at the bottom of this system,
Exactly.
and no one
And
wants to
why
be
do we
a part of
feel
that.
And why do we feel so bound because of that? We at the bottom, but not understanding why. When in the world, there is an 80% wealth gap when it comes to them and us. It's
Mhm.
like because they took everything.
But
Right.
They had
does that
farmers.
change your condition though, sis?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like even though they may know why, but does that change their condition?
No, I
You
said a
saying
lot of
there's
them don't know why.
right? Oh yeah, because I'm like even if they know, we still niggas, we
It
still at
doesn't
the
empower
bottom.
them, which is the sad part. Because if I,
Right.
it was a time I didn't know. Again, like I said, I was walking around, I was fighting a lot of these battles. Like, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like that? And then it's like, oh,
Mhm.
that's why. So once you do tear down a lot of those lies, or a lot of those things that you were taught, when it's like, oh, that's not really the way it is. This is what it is. So if you have a better understanding, I would think it would give you more confidence. But
Right. No,
yeah.
absolutely.
I don't know.
Once it clicks, you all of a sudden, like you'll get more confidence once you truly understand what it is. And now you can
Yeah.
start working towards solutions, which is exactly what, what we do at the BAIO.
It's
We're
a
Right.
good thing.
connecting with each other, working as a collective, working towards solutions, and because we understand our reality. This is not, we're not sugarcoating it. We're not trying to say, oh, this didn't happen in history, or or trying to rewrite it and try to be accepted by something else just to deal with the fact that we can't deal with our past reality and our current reality. Like we're not trying to form a dissociative identity disorder. We're just like,
Right.
nah, we need solutions. And the solution is land infrastructure nationhood, a nation
Totally.
of our own.
But you have to like. But if you've been in the comments though, Belle, and you've had to get rid of a lot of people, that
Ah,
those that need convincing, as Holub and Dinus like to say, that the white man is Thanos. So
yeah.
the
And
idea
they
to think
believe
that they know who they are. They've read a couple books. They did a little digging, a little research, but they still feel like we can't beat that system. We can't beat the white man.
Yeah.
The white man is
and
Thanos.
it, I
We
mean
cannot
that's
escape him. So
defeatism.
we're still back at square one, trying to convince those people that nah, that's not the case. We can exist without having this oppression upon us,
Right.
but they don't see it that way.
And like I get like years ago during Marcus Garvey era, it was harder back then. They didn't have what we have now. Like now
But
with
they
what's
did it.
available today, I'm
Hmm.
like, shoot, now there's no excuse not to do it.
There
So
is none.
if it
Yeah.
doesn't get done, it's basically as black people, we just don't want it. We basically are happy in this current environment, happy in this current state, and we don't want to make any changes because with what's available today with technology and the way even hell the internet alone, how we connect through that. I'm like we could do this. It can absolutely be done. It's being done with other groups of people.
Our ancestors have done it without all these things.
Exactly.
Without
Yeah.
Many, many
nothing. They
ancestors
Yeah.
didn't
have
have
moved back to
nothing.
the
About all of
continent.
this.
Right.
So
You
we got
know,
no excuse.
Yeah,
But
no excuse.
Dundada, thanks for joining us in the chat. He's one of our brothers in the BAIO. He's on his way to the Georgia meet and greet today, so I'm excited. I
Hey,
get to meet
brother.
him.
I'm
So
so jealous. I'm
so
so
yeah.
jealous. I wish I was there. But I'm gonna be
Me
at the. I'm gonna be at the whenever New York has theirs.
Yes,
Hopefully Philly can have one with Jersey. Maybe we probably have to combine some.
I know. Do like New York, Jersey, Philly, Delaware, because I think Delaware only has one member. So
Delaware has one. Delaware needs to combine with Philly. Like I don't even understand that. Who's in Delaware? I gotta
this
go
is
to
the
Delaware.
one person. I think he posted something yesterday on the site. I was like, yeah, he got to join up.
I gotta
Every-
see it.
Yeah.
I'm like a half 45 minutes away from Delaware. Like
Oh yeah, no, yeah, but definitely connect. But yeah, and then uh Kata, your chapter for sure. Next, we got a
yeah.
lot of people. One of the brothers, Leon, was wondering when they was gonna do a meet and greet. So I was like, yeah, we gotta get that set up in
Yeah,
California
tie
because
in,
that
tie
brother
in.
just sent me a friend request, and we talked
yeah,
about him. Yeah, yeah. So he's in Fresno, right, or whatever it is.
I can't remember. I think it is Fresno, but yeah, he sent me a friend request too. I was like, all right, yeah, we gotta get California.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, but I
not
told
too
him,
far
like
from
I'm doing
me.
a show with one of the girls from California tomorrow, so.
Chatter, are you in the Bay? Are you in the Bay Area?
I
Or
am. I am
okay.
in the Bay.
So you have seen a lot of changes, sis. And have you were you born and raised there?
Yeah, born and raised in Oakland.
So you have seen a lot of changes as far as gentrification and
I have. I've been moving around a lot too the last 7, 8 years. I done been to a lot of cities out here in California, but still always come back home, of course. But yeah, seeing a lot of changes. It's to the point that it's amazing. And that's what I find. I'm like, wow, it's right in front of your eyes. Like, how can you fight this any longer? Like, even if you don't know what's going on, you can see it.
yeah, sis.
You can see it definitely. Yeah, it's
Were
crazy. And
you
it's sad
around
because
for the
even
other sis when Shirley was talking? Were you there?
Oh, she was there.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
she
yes,
was
yes.
Oh,
About the immigrants, she think the immigrants is our largest problem.
yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen that definitely. I was just like, okay, and she my elder, so I was just, listening to her. I was like, okay, try not to just, um, I didn't want to disrespect her. We all entitled to our own opinion,
Right,
but I respectfully disagree. So,
right,
yeah,
right.
no,
but
she
she's free to feel however she want to feel. If she think that that's all there is to it. It's like you need to come over here where I'm at. You need to come
Right.
talk to the people that I talk to. These youngsters out here, 27, 18, 17, who out here walking these streets.
Mm,
Like, come over here. Because you looking at it from that perspective. But come down here. Come over here. I can show you a little something else. But because she never walked where I walked, even though she say she from the hood, you never walked where I walked, so you have never seen what I've seen.
right.
So it's easy for you to keep that position when you standing right there. But I know different. But she's entitled to feel however she want to feel, and I see, a different perspective than she does.
yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah, it's
I'm
real.
I'm
You
not
felt
worried about
pressure
that.
to move out of this out of the state? Have you felt pressure to move out?
I did in
Good.
2016. I moved to Mississippi for like 4 months, and then I came back.
Ooh, Mississippi.
Poor-
Yeah.
Bible Belt.
you had family there?
I do, and that's what I went down there. I was like, well, the schools are good. I lived down there before for about a year or
Mhm.
some change, and I was like, well, go down here. They got good schools. If they don't have nothing else. But what's surprising is it's not. It's to me, it's more racism out here in California than it is down south, which is
That's crazy.
funny because that's not what they want you to see. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I stayed for a minute and then I came back. But I had moved out of Oakland like in some years ago because my sons were getting of age
Mhm.
and I didn't want them to be swallowed up,
Mhm.
Hmm.
because I don't think that they had what it takes sometimes, to make it. They weren't like me. It's not a lot of people who grew up where I grew up who made it through, by being a follower a week or whatever. And I'm just a different type of person. So,
I
you
feel
know,
that.
No,
Definitely.
that's
everybody ain't able.
that's what's
Yeah.
up. All right, ladies, we will cut it short now. I gotta get ready to go to this meet and greet. I know a couple of people are over there, and um,
I'm so
finally get
jealous.
to. we. This is just the beginning. We're gonna try to get these done across the country till we all get together. So that's what
Yes.
ultimate goal for these meet and greets. We gotta get every.
California, let's get one. We next.
Listen, I would take a little Southwest, flight out to California. I sure would. I would come out there and see
I
what you
want to
have.
come to the one in New York.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you gotta come to Philly too, because like I feel some type of way that Philly is like majority black. It still is, knock on wood, and like I can't get no damn people
Members,
in my
yeah.
area. I gotta like start hustling and talk to some people. Like, why you
Yeah.
Make
gotta
little
come to New York?
cards. Give them out on the train.
So no,
But
this
then,
is
like, I'm
That's
not trying to convince you. I'm just saying, like, what you.
yeah. Like, what are you guys really doing? What's your end game? Seriously.
what are the topics that you guys are discussing? What are you talking about?
Because
Let's see if we can get in
honestly,
that
if it's not
conversation.
actually, you know what? Before we go, I brought it up yesterday. I'm like, if it's not about land infrastructure nationhood, I'm not
That's
interested.
good.
So I told you that I saw that stupid damn video of people talking about we need to build a black CIA. I'm like, what?
Oh,
Like y'all doing that mess, and y'all don't want to. But yeah, when we talk about nationhood, nah, it can't happen. It can't happen. It's not going to happen. I'm like, but y'all think a black CIA in the United States is going to work? These
no, cause
Negroes
that's
have
that.
Answers the
That's that more
problem.
Chiba. That's that more Chiba talk. That's that weed talk. That's that. That's what that is. I'm trying to tell you. That's when you bored and you just be saying, and after you under that influence and you just be saying stuff. Like it don't even make any sense. Like CIA, CIA. I don't know. We had that conversation last night. We're not even gonna go there. I just
Yeah, and so I'm like, well, they must be
think that's
smoking
so
something
Stop
good.
stupid.
it.
So CIA. We can't even get a block captain. What you talk? We can't even do that. You can't even listen. A CIA is a big deal, and I just don't understand our people sometimes. And I bet that brother
It's
was.
it's
Uh,
so crazy delusional. I'm like, okay, so first of all, you think you're gonna do that in the United States? Like, what if you? First of all, you probably will get caught. If you even if you attempted to organize to do this, what do you think would happen to you if
well,
they
let
found
me
out some shit
research
like this was
it.
going down? There's a
But
black.
what is your goal, though? I
Well,
mean, you know what I'm
that's the
saying?
thing. What's the goal? What's the end game?
What is your goal? To attack the CIA from within the CIA? I don't understand.
I
Like, what
Like,
are
what
you going
is
to do?
it to
Yeah,
keep
like
people
why
from
did he
being
choose
attacked
the
on the street? Like,
CIA? Well, like right. So why did he choose that department? Like why the CIA?
Right.
Like I don't even understand. Like we don't even have a black police department. Like this is man, like he just jumped. Like he went like like going straight to jail. Like I don't even understand.
Do
It
not
makes
pass
no
go.
sense. I don't get that. Like no police department. I don't even say like FBI. No, he just says CIA. Like that's
we need
big
our
money.
own black intelligence agency in the United States. I'm like, no, we need our own
You
nation
don't have to be a
outside.
part of the CIA to have a black intelligence agency because you can see with your own eyes. Okay.
Oh
Right?
my God. Listen,
I'm like,
I
to
know
what
I can see that
end?
we losing here and we need to go.
Right?
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, it's one step forward and two steps back with these people. Like, I need to. And again, this is what I'm
CIA?
happy. I'm like, it's just connect, not convince. Because to people like that, I'm like, I'm not even trying to convince you. You want some next stuff. So if you have any skills that that we can work with within the I was about
You
to
was
say
about to say
CIA,
CIA. You
yes,
see what I'm
you know,
saying?
we can
Then
work.
maybe he could come and transform that idea into something for the BAIO use.
Not
You know,
only
it's
But
like,
you know what, sis? But
AIO
how did
has
he
a
even get?
chapter for
But does he have any skills pertaining to the CIA? He could have just been saying
the
he
right.
could be a
right.
janitor and just be like, you know what? I think we should have our own CIA. Like you didn't even. Like, he didn't say he was like head of security anywhere. He just you don't know. You
I'm
don't
acting mad.
This is
That
what
is
we
too
need.
funny.
And just the amount of people co-signing it, saying yes. That video got 30,000 views,
I
30,000 plus
bet.
views, 1,000 comments. Majority, like 90% of those comments was agreeing. I'm like, y'all are killing me here. Y'all are killing.
Wow.
Not
You
to
can't even
mention,
protect your neighborhoods, but we're gonna sit there and try to
exactly.
have an intelligence department.
Right.
You know,
Makes no sense.
I can't. That's what he's like. You see, that's what they be smoking, and they get into talking about that mess. Like,
That's what
that's
it
exactly what it
is. Listen, y'all got if I know you said you knew, but you go through these YouTube and you got the metaphysical brothers, we got like they're part of the conscious community, and some things are like really out there,
Wow.
telepathy, you know what I'm saying? Like people say they can talk
is.
to each other without moving their lips. It's like a
No.
lot of stuff, and you go like, damn, and they respect it in the
Shut up.
community, and you just go, where do you get this? But then, and they usually have on shades. A lot of them be wearing shades. Peep that, and I'm like, you gotta be high, cause it makes no sense. It
Wow.
makes
That,
absolutely no sense. I'm not gonna call nobody out. Not gonna do that. That's not the. But I'm just saying, it. Peep
Like,
it
yeah,
sometime.
that nigga's
I've never
high.
seen it.
Yeah, just high.
They be
Wow.
high. That's just my personal opinion. I've met some people in person, and I'm like, they got a nice smooth, and I'm like, yeah, he be high. He be on a nice little laid back. That's where they get it from. That's just my personal opinion.
Oh my God. Oh my God, what was I say? But no, we just want to connect people of like mind, people who have skills, who want to
Definitely.
build and help build a nation state on the continent of our ancestors, who are looking to get out of the U.S., get out of this situation, who's sick of it. And
Mm,
even if you want to stay in the U.S., that's not necessarily against the BAIO. Hell, you can be a successful satellite community.
Definitely.
yeah.
And link you to resources that'll help you
Cheyenne.
with satellite
Yep,
community.
Cheyenne.
You could just come to,
Cheyenne.
Africa, stand on a continent just for vacation, like it's just
Right.
something different.
That's what people need to get out of the mindset of thinking, even if you don't have to agree with the BAIO, but you do want to tie in, or at least not to divide,
Right.
the
Exactly.
cells, because somewhere in the future you might need to say, you know what, okay, we've developed enough, we've seen enough, we've educated ourselves enough. I think it's time for us to link up with the BAIO. So if you don't understand, that's one thing, just take your time, because you haven't matured yet. So that's cool. But it's just like just wait, because in time, at some point in time, I'm a firm believer that people are going to look up and say that's what we need right there, because you're going to try everything else first because it sounds good, it looks good, it's cool. But
Mhm.
once you get to that state of I'm going nowhere, what do
Mhm.
I do?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Support.
Then you'll see the need
Support.
for it more, and you'll
Right.
connect you know
It's like when you get something new and you take it out the box, and it's like, okay, the instructions will give you some easy instructions how to do it, but you're just gonna figure out how to do it yourself. You don't need it. You can figure it out. Like, I don't need
Mhm.
all of that stuff. I
right,
put it together, and then you spend hours doing everything wrong until you get frustrated. And like, let me see this damn instructions, and then
right,
realize, oh,
right.
that's
That
easy.
used to be me. I'd be like, I'm a visual person. Let me just look at the box and I could tell how.
Hmm. Yeah,
We
yeah,
having extra screws left. Like, yo, this not working out.
Yeah. When you look at the
yeah,
instructions, it's like, oh, that's what that piece is for. Oh, okay, now I get it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So I could have just did it this way.
Right?
Oh my gosh. But thank you so much, ladies, for your time. Thank you. Those in the chat,
Yes.
Baden's mommy. I still got to do a show with you. I sent you a message. Dendata, can't wait to see you. And I think Dawood left, which is fine because he's always supporting. But yes, ladies, we're going to do this again this week. I'm a lot more available since I'm on vacation. I'm just here in Atlanta and I'm on East Coast time. So now I can finally match up times and get time to like do a little bit more shows if we want to. So we'll continue to message and get this thing going. But yes, thank you so much, guys,
Thank
for
you.
coming
enjoy your meet
I
and greet.
appreciate it, sis. I really
Yeah.
do. And Kata, it was awesome building with you, sis.
in.
And
Yes.
Likewise,
Yeah, I
likewise.
definitely wanted to get you two together. I was like, they are gonna like each other for
yeah,
sure.
she
Right.
said that. She was like, "There's a sister in California." I was like, "For real?" I was like, "Okay."
Oh,
That's what's up.
but yeah, Beta's mommy, I know you're out in Vegas. You're next for sure. We're gonna get you on here. All right. So thank you so much, family. We'll catch up. I'll see you guys back on the site.
Peace.
Okay,
We'll
peace.
talk
Blessings.
Sis.
more.
Have
All
a
right.
great
Enjoy
day,
your
you guys. Bye
You
bye.
All
too.
right.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace, family. Peace.